Easton Cowan hoping to change the fact that there are not any Leafs other than Calle Jarnkrok playing today in the starting lineup from last year's playoff. NHL Preseason starting lineup brought to you by Bet99. Download the Bet99 app. And Gary Galley, here we go again.
Yeah. You know what? It just seems like yesterday when these two teams finished playing on May 1st.
And here's a chance early. Stützle's in. Rounded. He can't finish it off. Close call in the opening 30 seconds. Now it's run. Sends it ahead. Cowan will dispatch it down into the Ottawa zone. And the first changes are underway. There's Nicholas Matinpalo, who became prominent last year in Four Nations, also had a good World Championship for Finland. It's turned over here. Here's Jarnkrok to the net. Scores! Calle Jarnkrok with the opening goal, 47 seconds in.
And then back in the other end, Matinpalo throws it up the wall. It's not a great pass to Cousins. It gets turned over by Jarnkrok, and he just walks across.
Spence puts it right on goal. Rebound will be kicked back to Spence again. Good offensive defenseman. Levin returns it. Spence a shot. Akhtyamov the save of the rebound. And the goal-saving play there by Danford as he tied up Drake Batherson at the side of the net. Now a pass comes across, and here's Lasse Thompson back in Ottawa after a year in the Swedish Hockey League. In behind the net, it's Batherson. A centering pass, and Akhtyamov stops that. Side of the net with control, it's Pezzetta. Fabian Zetterlund's got a lot of the ink, but Claude Giroux says, wait a minute, that's my spot. And so Giroux showed up at camp and has looked good early. And, you know, the veterans will dig in. A goal at even strength and then an empty netter. The only goal scored in the scrimmage. Mermish's shot is blocked. Danford puts it on goal. Kicked aside by Ullmark. Now Batherson trying to clear it. Gets it past Danford. Back to the Leaf line, and Cowan will pick it up there. Easton Cowan for Nick Robertson. Back it goes, and Mermis, a veteran, playing along with the youngster Danford, who makes a move. The captain of the Oshawa General sends it ahead. Here's Cowan trying to cut in, working against Spence. Cowan gets it across, and Benoit Grew with the shot on against Ullmark. Shifting gears is Stützle. Kachuk trying to dump it in. 29 goals last year. Here's Stützle. Across in front, and Akhtyamov with a big stop there off Giroux. So it starts to heat up. Down there is it's flipped in on Ullmark. A rebound and a quick shot there by Jacob Quillen. Quillen centering a line with Sim and Barbolini. Back comes Ottawa. There's a shot by Yannick. Stopped by Akhtyamov, and hoping to regain his status with the league. Leafs got it into the middle. Here's Pezzetta trying to get it to the net, and that one kicked aside. Cowan checked, and Thompson sends it ahead. Stützle inside the line. Fires it across, gets it back. Tim Stützle in, and he shot that wide. Funny rebound off the end glass, but the Leafs control. And it's flipped aside by Myers, who ventures in deep. There's Sabango. And Thompson. Again, returning to Ottawa after a year in the Swedish League. Drake Batherson flying in. Here's Parade with a shot, and Akhtyamov will reel in. Apparently was the focus back in Toronto today with the main units. Flipped ahead. Cowan in behind the defense, but recovering there. Yannick. Here's the shot. Robertson scores. Nick Robertson is heating up early, and it's 2-0 Toronto.
For the Leafs, they're up 2-0, but for a guy like Nick Robertson, it really doesn't matter. You don't have an excuse. Cowan does a nice job getting it deep in the zone, but he loses it. And it's David Kampf that does a real nice job. Once the puck turns over, he locates it. And when he locates it, he lays it right in the wheelhouse for Robertson.
Boyd on the forecheck, taken away from Nick Cousins by Kampf. It'll come across for Villeneuve. And here's Lettieri. Back to Villeneuve, shooting, scores! That one tipped in front. And the Leafs have a 3-0 lead.
Well, the simplicity of a power play, get the puck back to the top of the umbrella and then walk the line if you don't have anything. Villeneuve, as you mentioned, who plays a lot of power play time down with the Marlies, does the right thing. As he walks this thing across, he's got some depth screening, and he actually sees action going to the net, so he feels like, hey, if this gets through, I've got somebody coming right through there, which was Boyd. And I just think as Clavin moves along, he takes the vision of the puck away from Allmark.
Period. They didn't want to break that in ink, but it will be Sogard the rest of the way.
Now goal for Ottawa.
So he come out firing the puck, and that shot by McEwen cuts down. It both grew. 3 shutouts in his American Hockey League rookie campaign. Here's Sebrango. Big Batherson off the post, scores. Ridley Gregg puts it back in. We'll see if the initial shot beat Akhtyamov.
They're really going to be solid, and Gregg does a nice job of winning this draw, gets some help from his winger, and Thompson draws it down to the hash mark, and when he draws it down to the hash mark, he draws all the leaves down towards the net, and then it gets right up back top to Batherson.
On the change, it was fired down the ice. No lead there to pick up the pass as Akhtyamov tried to catch Ottawa on the change. Back in comes Barbolini. Give and go. Barbolini scores! Matthew Barbolini restores a 3-goal Toronto lead.
And as he flips this up the wall, Brango stops it, but it never really gets onto the tape. They never get possession. The thing is transitioned very quickly. And it's just a good give and go here at the blue line with Grew. And a really nice release. I mean, that's the one thing. It's the release of the puck that catches the goaltender oftentimes, and Barbolini.
Hermes ties up his man. Back to the line. Off Spence. Giroux in front, and that's healed by Calle wide of the net. Perron down low again in front, scores! There's Calle with a goal that makes it 4-2.
Retrieving the puck over and over again, and eventually a missed shot and some good play down low. Watch Ridley Gregg, he's gonna get this one, and he doesn't dust it off. He just sends it right out to Kaliev. And I mentioned earlier, Kaliev's got a really sweet one-timer. He drags that thing along the ground. He's nice. He's really strong on it. Perron to Gregg out into the slot, and the coverage is just a bit off.
He had 14 and 13 goal seasons. And here's Rafai. This after they hit earlier, and McEwen has challenged Marshall Rafai. McEwen's a heavyweight. Not sure how much Rafai has been involved in the past, but handling himself okay in another Battle of Ontario dust-up.
To the side of the face here, as this one was right next to me. The conversation was made, and you can see Rafai and McEwen, and there was no mistake. Once the puck, you got to wait for the puck to drop, and they did. And then what you're trying to do is trying to figure out what your opponent is trying to do first, and defense that, and then come after, and that's exactly.
There was a discussion in the warm-up. I wondered about this. That might be a little history from Belleville and the Marlies. So the third period here in the first preseason game, a 2-goal Toronto lead. And the lead starting with Camp. Robertson holds on to it for Shabbat. On the other side, it's Stützle. Shabbat fires. And stopped by Pexa, down, loose puck scores. Lexell, and Pexa gives up a rebound, and it's a 1-goal game.
And then they go to work, and here he lays it out to the point. Tkachuk is in his familiar spot. Watch how hard Brady is to contain down here once this thing gets going. He uses his back to box out Jarnkrok, and as he boxes out Jarnkrok with his back, he knows that he has Lexell over to his side here. He just pushes it over to him.
Gets it back from Perron. Ottawa comes close, threatening to tie. David Perron, Claude Giroux, in front, Calle. Going to do it as the Leafs will hold on to a 4-3 preseason victory here in the nation's capital.